the glue that holds us together in a lot of ways, or holds the Human Rights Center together over this 20 years is Eric Stover.
Eric Stover is the Human Rights Center. And the Human Rights Center would not exist without Eric Stover.
I don't think any of us would be doing the kinds of work that we do today without his leadership and his guidance. He has mentored an entire generation of human rights advocates, really teaching them to keep their mouths shut and their ears open, to listen and to look for the needs that are there in the surrounding environments in which we work, to not work in some isolated ivory tower somewhere, but to actually get our boots on the ground and let everything that we do be driven from the needs of the people that we meet. Another great strength of the Human Rights Center, something he's taught all of us, is to bring people together from disparate parts of the globe who are looking at a particular issue, to think critically about whose voices have been missing from the dialogue and who it's important to include. And by important to include, I don't mean people with a certain pedigree or a certain role in an organization, but to really think about who's had an experience that helps us to understand a problem, who has something that we need to be listening to as we design these programs and these ways forward.
It would be hard to find a more understated or humble person who has done all the work that he has over time.
He is one of the most humble people that I think I've ever met. So, given his long list of accomplishments, you would expect that, he might take credit for something every once in a while, right? And he almost never does. If he's in a room and a report is being presented that he's co-authored, he's always going to give credit to the other authors.
And how good he is about always just very gently bringing us all back to the story around that person. All of the complicated research we do, all the data we have, all the fancy methods we have, all the places we've been, all the stuff we now know, and all of this, it's great. But if we can't write it in a way that makes sense and is compelling and is truthful, then we're not being effective. And I think that of all the really amazing things Eric has done and continues to do, one of it is just really helping us be mindful of how we write and how we communicate what we've learned.
So I think of Eric as a combination of three things mostly, although I'm sure he has other attributes. But first and foremost, I think of him as a scientist. Second, I think of him as a journalist. And third, I think of him as a teacher and a mentor. And I think he brings all of those qualities to the center. And, I've said to his wife once that, when I started this job actually, that, if I could in 40 years look back, 30 years look back and say that I had accomplished 1/4 of what Eric has done, that I would feel great about my career.
He's left an incredible legacy. He could work anywhere in the world. I know he's worked with Amnesty International, with Human Rights Watch, Physicians for Human Rights. We are incredibly lucky, though, that we've had him here at the Human Rights Center for the past 20 years, and hopefully we will have him here for at least 20 more.